Hello and welcome everybody, Death's Crowbar here with you today. And today I wanted to do a little wrap-up thing for the E3 media conferences that have come out, the press conferences, whatever you want to call them, media briefings. Yesterday was day 0 or whatever of E3. Today was day 1, and if you haven't noticed yet, I'm not at E3. I'm at my home. I've been covering everything from my house, watching Twitch, because I couldn't get a place to stay. It's sad. I don't know anybody, so I can't get people to like, hey, can I stay with you? You know, it would just be weird. I couldn't really get a place to stay for E3, so I kind of had to stay here and cover it from my house, which is kind of okay. I would have preferred doing it from E3, you know. But anyway, it was really great. I really loved E3 this year so far. I mean, there's more days to everything, but, you know, it's not much now on my side of things, because, you know, it's not like I can go and play anything or stuff like that. It's just more of reporting and getting out all the news. And most of it's just putting out stuff that's already been stated. And since I'm mostly a solo writer on where I'm writing now, it's a lot of work for me. But I wanted to talk to you guys about these press conferences and what I thought about them. So we'll get straight into that. So Microsoft was first, and so we'll talk about them first. Now, Microsoft had a great media briefing press conference thing, and I really think their stage was nice. I loved how everything was set up. I think Phil Spencer did a great job with everything, and I think everything worked well. Tons of great games, great exclusives, new stuff that was shown, old stuff. By old, I mean, you know, they showed some of it last year, but this year they actually showed some gameplay of certain things. They announced a new Tomb Raider game. They showed Evolve. They showed and announced Master Chief Collection for Xbox One, including Halo 1, Halo 2, Halo 3, and Halo 4 campaigns, with all of the multiplayer maps and Halo 2 multiplayer all on one disc. It's amazing. And I want it now. I want it. How much do I have to pay you, 343? How much? Just tell me. What do I got to do? Anyway, beyond that, there were tons more great games, a lot of good indie games. I was really happy to see Chris up there on stage when he went up there and showed off the indie games. I was really happy to see Grave up there in the indie games, and some of the other indie games which I've seen on Kickstarters and things that I had played or talked about before. I really loved that. It felt good to me because, part of it, I know it's their success, but it kind of feels like mine a little too, because I was out there trying to help them, get success. So that was great. Basically, though, they only talked about games. They did not focus on hardware. They did not focus on media stuff. They focused on the games. Just the games. And that's what they should have focused on, and that's what they did focus on, and it was great, and it worked. In fact, I think it was the best thing they could do, and I think it worked the best. I think it really worked, and they came out with the big guns, and it was the best. Then there was Ubisoft and EA stuff, and they came out with a couple different things. A couple different games got shown off, and these games either got shown off in a couple other things or were shown at Microsoft's. Personally, when I saw them first, I thought them best there normally, but I would say the Assassin's Creed stuff at Ubisoft kind of was a little bit better than it was at the Xbox stuff. So, Assassin's Creed Unity, which I think we can all agree can be called Assassin's Creed Les Miserables, just as well as the Evolve Kraken we can all agree to call it Evolve Cthulhu Beast. It's not a Kraken, it's Cthulhu, guys. It flies, it's a Cthulhu. We all know that by now. Anyway, sorry, just got the giggles myself from doing that. Sometimes I make myself laugh in my head more than I do make y'all laugh. But a lot of good things were shown off. Far Cry 4 was shown off during those two, and a couple other things. It was later shown off again during the PlayStation conference, which I think the PlayStation thing was good. I think it was good. Okay? Here's the thing. I think it was good, but it could have been better. I think they should have a lot of good games and brought a lot of heavy hitters, but not as much as Microsoft. I think they had more remakes than Microsoft did, and that when they introduced their Gaikai stuff and talked about Morpheus and talked about YouTube and stuff, it was very boring the way they did everything. And I may be the only one who noticed, but there's definitely some flaws with what it sounded like with the whole Gaikai thing, whatever that's called, PlayStation Now or whatever, the streaming service. There were definitely some issues if everything they said was what I heard. You guys may want to go back and listen to that, but if it's coming out the way I heard it's coming out, it's not going to be that interesting for PS3 owners for a while, you know? It was like, hey, you can stream PS3 games on your PS4. It never mentioned when other games were coming to it. But it mentioned, that starts in June 21st, and that later they'll have the PS3 stuff. But I'm like, if you don't have the PlayStation 1 and PlayStation 2 and Vita games on it, that doesn't matter, Who wants to stream PS3 games on their PS3? And you can just play a hard copy or download it, and you have no lag issues from servers. But there were some other things other than that which I had issues with, and I don't know, it just felt like they fell flat. And the worst thing was when they brought out the Powers guy. I can't remember his name. They started talking about this TV show called The Powers, and how this Powers TV show is going to be based off a comic book series, and then they bring out the writer, and oh my goodness. If you ever want someone to drain the love, soul, and hype out of people, and just put them to make them want to leave or put them to sleep, bring that guy on. Because that's what it did. Alright, I'm like, okay, this is good. Then there's the media stuff. And I was like, okay, it's still okay. Then they brought that guy up. And people are saying, like, oh, well, if you cut this out. That was part of the conference, okay? If you guys are going to gripe about Xbox last year with all of its media stuff and everything, you gotta continue to gripe about it this year with Sony stuff. Don't be double taking. And I griped about both of them last year, although I did not do so on camera. That was more of podcasts and whatnot. But, I'm just saying, you guys last year were like, well, Xbox was talking about media stuff and junk all the time, and football, and TV, and whatnot, and it was horrible. They didn't talk about games enough, and then PlayStation did the same thing this year, and you guys were like, well, if PlayStation cut out that, it would be wonderful. So I'm like, that's not how it works. You don't get both. You get one or the other. You can't have your cake and eat it too. In fact, the cake is a lie. Sorry. The cake is a lie. No, Half-Life 3 has not been confirmed yet. Sorry, back to PlayStation stuff. It just kind of bored me. And then we had Nintendo stuff this morning. And Nintendo, you disappoint me. Okay? We already knew Smash Bros. Was coming out. Okay? You announced Skylanders for the Wii. Alright? And I know what you're saying here. Everyone's saying, well, this is just going to be a select feature. It's not going to be necessary. It's going to be DLC eventually. I can nearly guarantee you this is turning into Nintendo's form of DLC. Well, they're kind of, we got a new character for Smash Bros. But if you want him, you've got to buy this toy so that it downloads it into the game. I mark my words, something like that is going to happen. Maybe not Smash Bros, maybe to one of their other games, but it's going to happen. And we know these toys get expensive, and they just keep making them. Because if Skylanders has taught you anything, they just keep making them. And then there's like the alternate versions, so that, being Nintendo, they'll bring out the metal versions and gold versions, and just keep bringing them out. Then they showed us the stuff from the new Legend of Zelda, which looked great. But to be honest, even though it was running in engine, it was a simulation. It wasn't a game, it was a simulation. We could all tell that. I think so. It's an open world game, which I like about Zelda, but there's some stuff which kind of just, it hit me, and I'm like, okay, so we all know when a game's shown the first time, that's not what it's going to be like. We all know that when it's shown the first time, we're promised certain things and shown this graphical fidelity, and we know it's going to be worse than that. And so I feel it's going to be nearly Twilight Princess graphics, which isn't too bad. But gosh darn it, this is the Wii U, it should be 1080p and Skyrim graphics. I'm sorry, it should. It's not even Skyrim graphics, and it looked good, but it did not look next-gen good. Nintendo, you've got to step up your game. There was mention of a couple different games, like the new, trying to think of the name here, the new Yoshi game, Weave World or whatever. When Reggie came out and said we're not going to talk about Mario, I thought he was meaning we're not going to talk about Mario at all. Not that, we're just going to bring out secondary Mario characters and a game that they're being put in, okay? So next time, don't kind of trick us, Reggie, please. If we're not going to talk about Mario, let's not talk about Mario at all. If we're going to talk about Mario, tell us that it's going to be a Mario character, because, I'd like to have known that ahead of time. Yeah. Plus, you said that and then it got put in the Smash Bros. Video. But then you had the Pokemon stuff, which still, I think the names of those Pokemon games are going to chafe some hides for some people. The fact that it's Alpha and Omega, and those are supposed to be God Pokemon, I think it's going to chafe some hides for certain people. Not necessarily me or anything, but certain people. I know what it's like trying to deal with them. So, it's going to chafe some hides there. There was the Splatoon, which looked great, and I liked it, but graphically it could have been improved. I think it could have been better. And for a second there, I thought it was just one thing, and it looks like it's actually got real fighting in it with shooting people. I couldn't really tell. And then you had Hyrule Warriors, which was supposed to be from like Dynasty Warriors or whatever, and a mixture of Hyrule characters and Dynasty Warriors, and it looked okay, but it wasn't anything crazy awesome. Yeah. You disappointed me, Nintendo. You disappointed more than me. Where's Star Fox? Where is the next Metroid Prime game? I know you ended the Metroid Prime series, but where's the next Metroid Prime-esque game? A game with advanced graphics to compete with that of Halo and Metroid Prime gameplay. Where is it? Because that's what we want to see. And don't tell me everyone that wants Metroid Prime has a Wii U. Don't tell me that, because it's a lie. Okay? And I'm going to tell you, that Zelda thing, it's going to sell a lot of consoles if you do it right. So do it right, Nintendo. Star Fox would sell a lot of consoles. So I'm going to talk about this more in another video. But yeah, get it right, Nintendo. You disappointed me by not bringing out a lot of new stuff, by not showing us anything amazing. I know you've got stuff you could bring out at any time to help save your rear ends, but you haven't brought it. So I figure you think it's okay with how things are right now. So we'll leave it at that, and I'll make my video about the rest of it later. Anyway, I think Nintendo did okay. They didn't do as good as Sony, and I think Sony didn't do as well as Xbox did. Now, who won E3? Well, the gamers, of course. I mean, you're going to hear this from everyone and think it's some kind of cliche, but it's true. We all won this E3. The games are for us, and the competition is what keeps us getting great, better and better games. It's what keeps them making things like the Master Chief Collection, which everyone want to play that loves Halo. It's like them changing stuff for other games. They only listen to the fans because there's the competition. And so I'm going to say this, even though I don't play PlayStation, and it's not because I don't like PlayStation games. I like Killzone. It's not my favorite, but I like it. I think I'd like Uncharted. I think I'd like many of the games on PlayStation. I don't have a PlayStation. If they sent me a PS4 and some games, I would play it in a heartbeat. I'd probably stream from it too, if I had the iThing. But, I don't have one of those. So I can't get the same excitement out of things. I'm going to admit that. But I felt Xbox really beat it out of the park. They hit home run, strike, not strike from... Never mind. I can't bring sports terms into this. I'll watch all of it. They killed all the bosses and the final boss in a speed run of 2 minutes. Let's say that much. Maybe that gets to you. That's what it felt like. Okay? But, to be honest, the gamers win. PlayStation, you did well. You bogged yourself down with all that media stuff. And you talked about Morpheus, but you did not show anything about it. For that reason, I say Xbox wins. But not just that reason. I mean, to be honest, Xbox had a lot of hard hitters. And although Metal Gear Solid, or whatever this one is, I don't keep up with all the Metal Gear stuff. I know there's a ton of them. The Metal Gear stuff looked great, although the Order looked great, although a lot of games looked great. It lacked. Broforce was the one indie that stood out for me, and I've been seeing people play that on the PC for a while now. So Nintendo, get your stuff together. Sony, learn from this mistake, because obviously you didn't learn from Xbox making the mistake last year. They say a smart man learns from his mistakes, but a wise man learns from the mistake of others. Obviously, Sony, you did not learn from the mistake of others, but Xbox seems to have done so. In fact, they've learned from the mistakes of themselves, so they're also smart. They've got the smarts and the wisdom, it seems. So, I'm going to say they won. I know probably some of you are going to gripe at me. You're going to say, what about this? But to all of you who are watching Sony's stream on Twitch, you and I both know people were booing it out on stream. And that wasn't just the Xbox fanboys. I am by no means a fanboy. In fact, I've been playing a lot of PC stuff, and yeah. But I love my Xbox. But I love my PC. So, I'm not a fanboy. I play everything I can. I'm a gamer. The losers are the fanboys. The gamers are the winners. I'm sorry to anyone I'm stealing stuff from, because likely most of my ideas are coming from stuff I've seen on Twitter and junk. A lot of stuff pops into my head. I'm a community guy, and so when I see stuff in the community, I kind of address it myself. It's kind of how I gotten certain points with certain communities and certain developers, by addressing stuff with the community. So, it's something that comes naturally for me to do. But yeah, we won. We won E3. Us, the gamers, won E3. Now, if you're at E3 right now and you're watching this, I'm surprised you're watching this, first of all. But go play some great games. Go play them. They're awesome. I don't care what you prefer. Go try something new. Try the different console maker. Try the different game. Try something awesome. And if you're from home, don't be afraid to try something different, okay? Try it. If you got a friend with a PlayStation 4 and all you play is Xbox One or Xbox 360, go play with him on the PlayStation. If you don't like it, okay. But don't just, not play it because you got this Xbox is the only way to play mentality. Anyway, that's just my thoughts over this. Thank you guys all for watching. As always, don't forget to like, comment, favorite, share, and subscribe. Don't forget to follow me on all the social medias, and like I say a lot, subscribing really helps. I need the subscriptions right now. It could help me get in fact, right now, it could help me get a partnership, which would lead to better videos, more stuff. Trust me, it could only get better from there. So, if you like my stuff, please subscribe. Plus, you'll know whenever I have new content out. And trust me, things are going to get better. You'll see that in the next few days. So, to all you nerds out there, to all you gamers, especially you gamers, and to all you geeks, keep doing what you do. This has been my E3 overall recap. And, it's been awesome the last 2 days. Anyway, guys, this is Death's Crowbar, and I'm signing out.